Hi, Bill Caskey here for Caskey One. We want to talk about a topic today that not too many sales trainers tackle. In fact, not too many business trainers or coaches tackle, and that is the role that fear plays in business activity, most specifically in selling. You know, we work with a lot of organizations, with the sales management team, with the executive team, and with salespeople alike, and fear always is there. And sometimes when you ask someone, in fact, often when you ask someone, well, tell me what you're afraid of, people always will say, well, I'm not afraid of anything. I don't experience any fear. But of course, we know that's not true. And what I've done here today is talk about the 5 fears that we see salespeople having and a little bit of the impact that that has. The reason for doing this video is if you see some of these things that are relevant to you or resonate with you, and maybe you're a sales manager and you'll start to see some of these things at work, you'll understand the impact. Give us a call and we'd love to talk with you about either the issue that you're talking about here, dealing with, or some of your team members. So let's go through these one at a time. Fear number 1 is the fear of setting the stage. What we mean by that is the salesperson has to set the stage with the prospect. It has to be upfront discussed about what the process looks like, what the sales process looks like, what the roles of each person is or are in it. And I find that people are very reluctant to do that. They would rather get right into the talking about the content and the questions and the type of need the customer has. I love those questions, but up front you've got to set the stage. What happens when you don't? Prospect lies. And how many times have you heard the saying, buyers are liars? Well, I don't think that buyers are liars intentionally. I think they do it as a defense mechanism if you don't do a good job of setting the stage up front. Fear number 2 is they're afraid of asking deep questions. Questions that relate to the emotions of the prospect. Why do you have this problem? What's this problem costing you to have? What happens if you don't do anything to try to fix this problem? These are deep questions. Some of them can be uncomfortable, but you have to ask them or you'll never get to the real problem. You'll end up skirting around the issues. You'll talk about things that aren't really the essential problem the customer has or wants to solve with you. And when you don't have the real problem, you're not going to be able to be spot on target with the solution that you might have. Fear number 3, they're afraid of controlling the process. And you might say, well, this sounds so simple to control the sales process. Well, I think it is, but most of us are a little bit reluctant there. We feel like the prospect is the one with the money, and they're the customer after all, and they have the power of the pen, so they should control the process. Well, the impact of you not controlling the process is the customer owns you. It's always their way. It's their way or the highway. They are the ones that say to you, you know what, you need to lower your price here. You know what, you need to send this presentation somewhere else. And if the customer should not own you. You should own the process. You should be in control of the process, not the customer, because you're the one that has the solution. All they have is the money that they're going to trade for that solution, so you should be in control. Fear number 4, thorny issues. What do you mean by thorny issues? Well, issues like maybe they've had a vendor in the past and they have a good relationship with them, and you've got to figure out a way to bring that up in the conversation at some point. Maybe they have no budget and you've got to talk about the thorny issue of how you're going to pay for this. That's difficult. Any issue that happens that where the prospect is not bringing it up, but later on in the selling cycle it bites you, that's what we'll call the thorny issue. What's the impact of that? That always hits you later. It's always when you least expect it that those issues come up. Great salespeople have a way of controlling those by bringing those up before the prospect does. And when you do, and we'll help you with that, find some elegant, efficient ways of bringing those things up, they'll never bite you in the end, so to speak. Number 5, hearing no. Salespeople have a problem of hearing no. I'm convinced that a lot of that problem is caused by sales managers, because sales managers don't want to hear no. They want to know that the pipeline is full, that every prospect that you have is going to turn into a yes. We know that's not true. The impact of not wanting to hear no is you twist and turn, avoiding the inevitable. Meaning you're always gyrating a little bit, trying to figure out a way around this problem and that problem. And how do we handle the pricing situation? How do we handle all this stuff? And the fact is, sometimes people are just not prospects for you. And if you'd be more open to hearing no up front, you'd be able to move on to people who are going to say yes, who have the money, who have the problem, who are willing to commit to you. Sometimes I look at people's pipeline and it's 80% fluff. There's not 100% possibility of close there. It's only 20%. So why wouldn't you want to hear no up front? And I think people are afraid of that. And when you're afraid of that, you'll end up taking some twists and turns in the process that you don't really need to. There are many more than this, and there are many more impacts than this. But I thought this would be useful to give you a sense of what we see the role fear playing in the sales cycle. And anytime you have fear and you don't have the confidence, you're out of control a little bit, it really takes its toll and you won't experience as much success. Hope you've enjoyed this. Stay tuned for more. Bye.